You can choose to raid the caravan, or you can choose to guard it. This is a game where slaying monsters are not the only way to grow stronger. Heck, it's not even the main way.
Today's video is a little bit different. I know it's kind of been leaning towards this, and I talked to a lot of creators. Just got back from Next, and I want to give my thoughts a little bit on Warzone specifically. I have a lot to say about Black Ops 7, and that's going to be in a different video, and we got the beta and stuff like that, so there's stuff regards to that. But this video is mainly going to be about Warzone, and I mainly went into COD Next really like, I'd made a couple videos already saying kind of like my initial thoughts on what they need to do. And one of the things I said is they really need to surprise us, give us a little bit of a wow factor that we actually have something to look forward to. And they kind of did that, but not really. And it really just fell flat. I don't know if it's out of touch or whatever the right thing is, or maybe my expectations were too high. I don't know. Regardless, I want to kind of just talk about my initial thoughts going into it, because I always kind of viewed it in either one of these ways, is that the perfect like storm of content that they could have given me and us for Warzone is a good game. I wanted nothing more than to be able to come back today after COD Next and make a video specifically about Warzone and do Warzone is back. Like, that would be like the perfect thing to be able to have as my title, as my thumbnail, is Warzone is back. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's not even remotely close to back. It's not even, and it's not going to be for the foreseeable future, right? What they gave us in terms of information at COD Next is that, you know, season 1, when the integration normally happens, all the weapons are going to be integrated. Attack sprint is gone, which I like. I know some might disagree. Base movement speed is going to be increased to compensate for that. You still want attack sprint, you got to use sprinter. Health bars above the head, which they really didn't talk about. I don't know if they just put that out there to get kind of a feeling for it. I know people are really split on that. 5 attachments only. I think that's going to be good just for simplicity's sake, especially with some of the things they're going to be able to balance. Combat role with Mountaineer, cool. I don't think Mountaineer, if it doesn't get a buff, no one's going to be using Mountaineer. There's some perk changes, rebalancing stuff. We're going to get overkill by default. They're done with the wild cards so that you can equip your primary and secondary, which I think people are kind of split on that too, but people are generally fans of that. But one of the best things that they talked about, which is just going to go under the radar for several months probably, is their ability to tune attachments and modify weapons with full autonomy, which they've always kind of had to go through Treyarch or Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward. And these level of restrictions essentially were shackles on Raven to kind of hold back the game. And that doesn't give them like a full out. That's just on that specific niche, which we've complained about for like the past 3 years of an issue. Among many issues: floor loot, gulag not changing, map changes not happening frequently enough, events not feeling rewarding, and there's a lot of other stuff. We've done several videos on that. The thing isn't really to harp on the old stuff that we've already talked about, but primarily the things that they talked about and why that's not going to satisfy me as a content creator, as a gamer for the next 7 months. It's just not going to. And I say 7 months because they kind of did some teasing on a lot of things. And like, it sounds like, cool, here's the carrot on the stick, but it's like really 7 months out. We're going to get the new map for Resurgence. Cool, that's going to be the season 1. But I'll probably still prefer Rebirth Island. The map was fun to play. It was cool. I didn't get a ton of play time. It was versus SWAT. My first death is to Scump and Shotzi. Yeah, that's balanced, but whatever. That's just how it goes at these types of events. You're going to go against demons who literally played for a living. I've never done that. It's like, cool. Yeah, what about for big map? Oh, we're going to get a reused POI, which I'm sure takes a lot of work, and a brand new POI, which I don't know how impactful that's going to be. I know when we were during the live stream, essentially we switched to Verdansk to show off these POIs, and everyone was like, well, why are you on Verdansk? Like, what is this? And that's disappointing, because I was thinking it.
Biraj svoju igru. Odlučna, hrabra, energična, do samoga kraja. Jeden klik i gra počinje.
Chat said it. I read it. I was saying it too. Everyone left the event feeling like a little deflated because it's like, really? What am I supposed to do for 7 months? Like, I know it's not their job to care about what I'm going to make or not, but I want to have fun making content. And if you're not going to provide me the tools to make fun content, then the symbiotic relationship isn't working, right? I mean, I don't want to be those channels, you know, where their whole shtick is talking about how trash the game is every year, how everything about it, even their W's are trash, and like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. We'll talk a little bit more as we get in deeper to this, but they tease this blackout stuff, and it's like, okay, they're marketing like this mode, but we get no clarifications on systems, how it'll differ from the original Blackout, that people have nostalgic feelings and you can go back and play, even though it's kind of hard to get a lobby on console. And then also, how is that going to differ from Warzone? And there's too many unknowns. And when people speculate about these things, people get overly optimistic, positive, when there's really nothing tangible to get positive and speculative in a good way about. It's really bad. There's no trailer, no screenshots, so that people can even nitpick and go, ooh, they're bringing back the grapple hook, or one of those types of things. How is it going to work with progression? And leaks suggest, we don't know if they're accurate, but they sound pretty accurate, that next year's title will be MW4, and in that title, it'll be on an updated engine, which really just means that they're going to drop PS4 and old gen off the roster, so they're not going to be held back from those limitations of those consoles. And a lot of people are thinking that GTA will force people to upgrade their consoles, because that's not on previous gen either, so you'll be on the newest hardware. And then they'll probably drop new consoles next year or whatever the heck. But whatever that is, and when they're going to switch to this new engine, there's... there's a realistic expectation that basically everything's going to be scrapped, and they didn't really clarify that because obviously it's so far out. But it's like, okay, so all your bundles you buy won't carry over to that. All right, cool. Even for Warzone, if they're going to do a new iteration of Warzone, that's like Warzone 3, and the weapons will have other things, and the movement will be like, we kind of want separate games, but then they do things that do kind of the same game, and then like you lose everything, and it's really like a weird shock that they kind of put themselves into. And it's unfortunate for some of the devs because they just kind of got to deal with it and do their job. I know this doesn't really get talked about a lot because you really only get to engage with developers when you go to these more private events and you can talk to them one-on-one without someone looking over the shoulder, and they can be a little more candid. They're all trying to work hard. They're working their butts off to try and make the best game possible. But just like I said earlier, with the ability to have control and autonomy over the attachments without having to go to beg another studio to go ahead and try and change stuff, is just one type of restriction. And there's others, and then there's people above that, and then there's these other support studios that everything's got to go kind of hand in hand and work. And sometimes there's going to be ideas, good ones, that are held back, and bad ideas that are put to the front that people may disagree with. And it happens all the time. And they're just doing the best job they can individually, but there's people above that and other mechanics that just don't really get talked about enough. And it's unfortunate because they're not in control of whatever ends up happening with this. They also tease the fact that they're going to do a refresh to Verdansk and Rebirth with no context. And on the same graphic, they show that the new Resurgence map is still going to be there when this happens, but that's not going to be updated. So they've already banked on them keeping the map for the next 7 months, unlike what they did with Area 99, which at least that's a little bit of a plus, but without any changes or modifications, improvements. And I get that those things take a while, but what the heck are they going to do with Rebirth that hasn't already done, or Verdansk that already hasn't been done? Like, we did a time change before we went to 1984, and that felt completely different. So maybe they stick with the Black Ops theme and they go to 2037 or 2035 rather, and we get wall jumping or something. I don't know, because even that part isn't included in all the surplus of 20, 30 plus changes that they're doing to Warzone. Wall jump still won't be there. And I think people are split on that, so maybe they got to decide on that, but what we played, it wasn't that way. And there's a lot of issues, that the fatigue part of it, but it also feels like Warzone has kind of become the forgotten mode, right? We got lack of POI changes, lack of meta changes, lack of like just map changes. We don't have any POI. There's no events. There's no red doors. Day-night cycle, Halloween events, like don't get used beyond the like that 1-3 week period. Train station, subway, things that we already had in Verdansk still aren't being utilized. The gulag is the exact same. All through Urzikstan, same gulag. So we've had the same gulag for like 18 months or something like that. Not even a different colorway. Like, oh cool, it's kind of like grayish, let's make it like orange or black with trim. Like, even that would be something. It'd probably get hate, but you know, it'd be something. And I think it's gotten to a point where the pendulum for Call of Duty has kind of swung. Before Warzone dropped, obviously multiplayer was the main focus. Zombies kind of felt like a supplemental mode, even though it got a lot of good content back in Black Ops 3 and on and off. But as soon as Warzone dropped, the pendulum hard swung the other way. And it's like Battle Royale, free to play is the main focus, even if it's at the detriment of multiplayer. And some people would argue zombies with plate systems or whatever the case is. And I think it's at the point where it's definitely swinging back. For me, I've always been a fan of multiplayer. I've played since COD 4 Modern Warfare. I played every iteration of COD. I didn't always play zombies on all of them, but multiplayer for sure. And then once BR came out, I was like, oh, this is fresh, nice, fun content to cover. SBMM's kind of a drag on multiplayer. That'll probably still be a thing. But it feels like the pendulum has kind of swung back, where as good as BO7 is going to be, even if you aren't a fan, it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to have tons of content, and the people who like it are just going to genuinely love it, and they're going to be supported for a while, even with the fatigue of engagement optimized matchmaking or whatever. Same thing with zombies, I think, as well. I think they're getting tons of new maps, they're getting tons of content, but Warzone feels like it's now on the back burner. And this is kind of how a lot of content creators that kind of stuck with multiplayer felt when I started covering Warzone, and it was doing like well and easy to cover because they were just putting out W after W. I would talk to them and they'd be like, yeah, it feels like it's neglected. And I would feel the same too, especially on launch. I'm like, yeah, this is just not, it doesn't have the juice. Like they like scrapping these bits together to like just get by, because it's like the secondary mode now. And now it feels like it's the other way around. And this is even further reinforced by like all the context that we've had recently with COD Next, leaks, beta stuff that we're going to have this week, early access impressions from people like myself that got to play early about certain things. But we knew nothing about Warzone until COD Next. And it just feels neglected and kind of like hung out to dry. But then they tease like, oh, we're going to give you all these things, but like in 7 months. Like, that didn't really help me to make... You want me to make hate content like I hate Warzone for the next 7 months? That's not going to be fun. That's not something I'm going to commit to, and that's not something I'm going to do. So that's kind of where it's like, I was kind of hanging on there, hoping like something would come through. Like a...
All I want to do now is drive around the Midwest with you eating burgers. Can we make that happen?
Let's do it.
We'll go camping. Can I call you Dad? Like, let's just, what are we doing, Dad?
My name is George Motes, and it's my job to make sure that you appreciate the American hamburger as much as I do. Good luck. When I think of fast food burger, sometimes I think, meh, so what? Think about it.
Kill confirmed. This operation is under executive surveillance. Hostile dog active.
Triggering scout pulse.
Cluster grenade going on.
Hostile dog working.
Enemy appears KIA.
Hostile UAV established above. Skewer release detected.
Spotty structure. One for me. Cluster going out. Ordering skewer launch on my mark. Get me eyes in the sky.
Enemy UAV detected. Hostile skewer inbound.
Visual.
Didn't take it personally.
You're the most elite combat assets on the planet. Act like it.
Cluster thrown.
Deducted from your salary.
We are bleeding. Fall back. We'll hit them another day.
Get on the move.
Lobbing cluster grenade.
Give me your just cause, enough ammo, and stay out of my way.
claimed the lead, widened the gap. Hostiles have the hard point. Black Ops took the lead. Do not let them keep it. We control the hard point. We have the lead. Maintain current posture. Hardpoint identified.
Now pulse ready.
Hardpoint active. Personnel have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
Taken requesting UAV tasking.
Enemy equipment. Shots good.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hostile UAV established above.
Moving with scout boats.
Control the hardpoint. Enemy UAV detected. Hardpoint identified.
Another ghost.
Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint active.
They're armed.
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. We control the hardpoint. Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint is active.
location.
Submitting skewer request.
Hostile UAV established above.
Enemy marks me shooting.
Hardpoint located.
Authorizing.
Hostile at the hard.
Trophy
Hardpoint is
system.
active. Hardpoint locked down. We control the hardpoint. Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint.
Locking kill. Steve, sniper has us.
Scout wolf standing by.
Logging UAV mission request.
Hardpoint identified.
Cinco, baby.
Skewer ready to launch.
Enemy UAV detected. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint locked down.
Triggering scout pulse. Put out
Skewer
authorized
released
escort.
attack.
Clean shot. Consider my balance.
They're falling apart. Go for the jugular. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint is active. We control the hardpoint.
Mover.
those burgers have to come from somewhere. They have to have historical roots in something. Every fast food burger came from some small town burger. Follow me here for a sec. Close your eyes. Think of a square patty. What do you see? You see a girl with pigtails named Wendy? No, that's the easy answer. But today we're gonna go much deeper. Today I'm gonna show you 3 historical burgers that inspired fast food giants. These are the primary source burgers that begat burger empires. The friendly neighborhood favorites that spawned international icons. But I'm not gonna do this alone. I'm gonna go on this journey with a guy who loves fast food. Hey!
How you doing, man?
Sorry.
Jethro Tull is what I go by.
I did it again. Look, it's Josh from Mythical Kitchen.
How you doing,
What's
man?
up,
Thanks for
Chef?
having
Good to
me.
see you. Thank you
Likewise,
for being
man.
here.
No, it's incredible being in the Burger Museum. I see this, Hamilton Beach original shape mixer over here. It's so funny. We're also just in a lovely home. I walked in, I was like, I should take my shoes off. And I'm like, wait, we're cooking a lot. Hold on, we should figure this out. This is incredible. I'm in hallowed
You need shoes to
grounds.
cook? Is that what's going
A
on?
little bit. I was telling him, I watched my dad drop a kitchen knife into his bare foot once on Thanksgiving. And now, don't feel
Oh,
right.
no, it's not good. No blood, just burns. We're going to talk about 3 fast food icons today. Ready? Wendy's, Cheesecake Factory, and Steak and Shake. All 3 of those were inspired by local favorites. You ready?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
That was freaking good, man. It was real bad. God, we're insane.
Good.
Finishing each other's. Damn right.
We're going to make the burger that inspired Wendy's.
I noticed from the square shape,
What is that?
this is a very unique rectangular prism of ground beef, I imagine. I don't know why it is, though.
Because we're going to do something that they did back in the day. There's a place called Kewpie. Do you know Kewpie?
Kewpie the mayonnaise?
No, go back further. Kewpie Hotel Hamburgers in Flint, Michigan. At one point, there were over 400 locations of Kewpie Hotel Hamburgers all over the upper Midwest.
Never heard of it.
Opened in 1923. There was a location in Kalamazoo. And guess who grew up going to the Kewpie in Kalamazoo, Michigan? Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's.
Interesting.
That's right.
Wendy's was opened in Columbus, Ohio, right?
That's
That was
right.
the first Wendy's?
1969.
Which
Yeah.
is funny because that's like kind of significantly later than a lot of its competitors. With
true.
Burger King, with
Yeah, yeah.
McDonald's, and he exploded on
Yeah.
the scene. I know the Frosty was inspired by a local Columbus racetrack.
That's true. Yes.
They had frosted malts, and he
Yeah.
combined chocolate with vanilla because he didn't want the chocolate flavor to overpower the hamburgers. But I know nothing about why their burgers are square. I don't remember when I said I could provide fun ancillary information, but I know nothing about the burgers. George, this is it.
We have some theories about why they had square patties, right?
I'm flummoxed.
It was for space on the griddle. In other words, you'd use every inch of the griddle when you had a square patty.
Interesting.
Right? So we have not done this before. So we're going to give it a shot. This is for cutting cake. You've seen this before, right?
This is like a garrote. Like this is what you.
Right.
Yeah.
work. Come on. No, slicing. Slicing. Oh, it's not working. That didn't work.
Do you need me to stabilize?
No, it's not
Is
going to
it
work.
gonna
Hey, I'm going to try a knife. So, but they have these extrusion machines at Kewpie that just the loaf goes through and slices.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Solid.
that's exactly what it would look like if you were making a burger.